Hello everybody, this is Ben from Epic Seconds, the record store that I've been going to since I was first in Eugene in high school. Hey Ben.
Hey Riley.
So how you doing, man?
Nice to see you. I'm good.
Awesome. Hey, it's like 10 a.m. and beautiful day outside.
The store's open.
The store is open.
For business.
You're still kicking.
Yeah.
So, you've been in the record business for like, how long?
25 years?
Yeah? And where did that start?
When I was in art school in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
I worked at a place called Reckless Records.
And you moved over to CD Game Exchange, so tell me about that transition.
I went to a friend's wedding in Portland, and I had been born in Portland and lived there as a kid, but returning I remembered the lifestyle vibe that I liked, remembering when I was younger. So
Yeah.
I liked it enough to move back. So even though I was, planted in Chicago pretty firmly, I pulled up roots and moved back to Portland and couldn't get a job. And finally I got a job at a place called CD Game Exchange. Those guys were actually from Cleveland, so they had the kind of similar mentality that a Chicago guy would have, that vibe. So I think we got along because of that. So I began hourly, and then I was a manager, and then I was a regional manager, moving around and managing stores like here, even though I was in Portland. And then they made me an incentive to come here and manage this exclusively.
Awesome. So you kind of like were the start of the Eugene record.
Well, this this kind of incarnation of CD Game started in Eugene. My friend started it, close to 30 years ago, and then moved up from Portland. And then they just never had anyone to manage it, because in Eugene, back then, there were college kids and there were family people. There wasn't a lot of people between that age group.
Right.
Which I was in that
middle
center
bracket.
Yeah, so I could be responsible, but I didn't have the necessity of a family.
There you go. And obviously now it is Epic Seconds. That is your own company, right?
Oh yeah. I bought out my my business partners, a number of years ago, but a few years ago I had the opportunity to buy the building, and when I did that, I was trying to think down the road to what could really give it a kind of a fresh look, or where we're going to end up further down these changes that are happening that we're going to talk about.
Absolutely.
And to me, it was more about branding and less about product specificness. So I thought a name that could kind of encompass a lot of things. It could be, a brand or a label. Like it could be a record label, it could be an art gallery, it could be a destination.
And with the art shows you guys put on, First Friday art walks and stuff like that, I see a lot of really cool stuff. Jake,
Yeah.
he's like, I've been going here forever, and I found out he's a really cool musician thanks to your show.
Yeah, I started the art gallery part of the store because being an artist, because I was in art school in Chicago, and I've shown a lot of times, and it's always kind of on the smaller end, and it's coffee shops and it's little galleries and little places and non-traditional spaces. But some of those shows are quite a bit of a hassle for very little return.
Yeah.
Sometimes the only return is a good conversation, or some good contact, and that's enough. But I basically thought if I could use this upstairs space as part record store, part art gallery, I could give to other artists what I'd want for myself, which was a place that's kind of hassle-free, to have a show that's easy, and a place to have a dialogue and an ongoing conversation.
Was the plan all along to use the upstairs? It's been storage forever, right?
Well, when we bought the building, my business partner, or building business partner, that's where he excels, is turning spaces into better functioning spaces. So he was able to get a permit to get the staircase put back that was here 30 years ago. Because this used to be a stereo store, and downstairs used to be a typewriter store.
Oh, man.
When my friends came in, they tore out the staircase. So it was in limbo for, 20-some years, 25 years.
I've seen a lot of remodeling all over the city, and some places just completely look different. So about that, you've seen the death of video stores come and go, not just like Blockbuster, but like mom and pop video rentals shops and stuff like that. And with physical media, do you think it'll stick around?
Stores in general?
No, like DVDs, CDs, records, old game cartridges.
Well, my theory, the short end of it is that people want control of what they have.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have something in a cloud, or when you have something on a hard drive, when you have something that every device you transfer, it goes potentially further away, you think you have something, but you don't have control of it. So I think physical media is important, and it has a revival because people are losing the tactile connection to what they have.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a connection with what you have, you're losing part of the experience.
You think it's going to stay alive?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's, if anything, the digital side, I think, is more threatened because for those of us who are artistically inclined or creatively, have those impulses, I mean, you have a deeper connection when you actually can hold a record, or when you can actually listen to something outside of a compressed version of it on your phone, right? So, I mean, those are the people that I've always been catering to, because that's the person that I am. So I don't see people like me, backing off of that. If anything, I feel like there's evidence of more people joining the fold. There's more people that want to be back in charge of their lives and not dictated by their phone or by an Amazon. The best things that I've discovered in the past, whatever, is when, like a conversation like right now, if you tell me about a new band that you like, that means a lot more than a computer suggesting it to me.
Absolutely. I mean, I ended up getting my channel through word of mouth because I had a good conversation.
Right.
And that meant my whole day. I'm like, wow, this is so cool. That, some kid, it's like, this is someone out there that talked to someone else, and then that sparked something.
Right. Digital things, imitate life,
Mm-hmm.
social media and things like that, and compressed this, and, those are stand-ins for real living. But the things we're doing now, when you play a record, or when you have a conversation, or when you make a painting, that's actually participating in life. So
and that's not going away anytime soon, right?
It never has. It's always been there. If anything, there's more evidence of, the longevity of that type of ethic than the digital. If anything, the digital's more in for a long-term twisted pretzel, whatever it turns out to be.
I see a lot of crowdfunding stuff with Indiegogo and Kickstarter, and we also have Patreon. Patreon and Subscribestar are a subscription where you pay someone a month, and that's their income. And I feel like that's kind of the future of independent filmmakers and bands and things like that. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, you might know more about it than me, but I definitely think, to add and continue what we're saying, I think things will continue to be done differently.
Yeah.
And smarter, and the parts that don't work will fall away. But